Okay, he was a policeman, a lifeguard, city council member, assemblyman, over 68 years of public service, and now he is the author of this wonderful book, which is all going all over the country, For the Love of a Child. The great Harvey Weisenberg, who's thrilled to have on our show. Welcome, Harvey.
Nice to be with you again.
Harvey, I want to open up and talk about, because I know you know so much about it. I want to talk about mental illness, because the Joker movie is out, came out October 4th, and there's been a lot of talk about it. Not just about the movie, but the fact that because the main character played so well by Joaquin Phoenix, plays a deranged, mentally unstable person who becomes deadly and murders people, that some people who are mentally unstable and have a lot of issues could be inspired by a character like this. There is a lot of talk about mental illness. What's your thoughts on mental illness and your experience, especially as a legislator?
Well, it's very sad when you really say about mental illness. It is an illness. And not everybody who is mentally ill or has any difficulties in surviving in our society today are going to be criminals. They need help and assistance. They need love and attention. So not everybody who has any kind of a dysfunction in their mental health is basically a criminal. But if you really want to know about mental illness, all you have to do is watch the news. You look on television. The biggest things that are happening in our society, not only in this country but all over the world, are people killing people. And it doesn't make any sense, because when they just put a tag on somebody that they're mentally ill. Now, we have so many people, and I was a special ed teacher, by the way, and the principal in East Meadow. I taught there for 20 years. And I'm saying people that had dysfunction and had difficulties with love and attention and a proper education and some kind of stability in their homes, they outgrow and they can be helped and move forward, and they do function. So let's not put a label on anybody who has a mental problem, because a mental illness is going to be a criminal and kill people. But I don't understand. Our world today has changed so much from the times that I was brought up, in the years where families meant something, going to church or to a temple, and religion was important, that we have to learn to respect and give dignity and care for all people. But it's kind of frightening, because the media, the programs with the anger and violence is spreading. It's like a disease. People are hitting people they don't know. They're shooting people they don't know. And this is not, it's all over the world. So it's a problem that I think everybody has to really take one step back and really try to understand the stability and the need for love to come back into our world, and caring and family, and the values are so different today. I mean, what is success? Success is the happiness that you have in your life. It isn't like power and money. And that's what we see in government. People are getting elected to office for power and money. But it's got to change. And good people have to become involved. And the bad people that are involved in it, because the institution is so important. If a few bad people do things wrong, and then they say, well, Congress, they're all no good, and in the state level, they're no good, and even local government, we have difficulties and misdeeds. But the answer really is, when you work together, you have success with caring. And I always say, when politics takes over government, you don't have government. And this is something that I have to know who's running for office and who they really are and what they stand for. But even a third of the people don't vote. And then I always say, you get what you deserve. If you don't participate, you got to be an active participant. You got to know who and become involved and understand what their goals are in life with those people seeking public office. And we have good people. All we have to do is really get together and hold hands. And it's very interesting, because I see this in a program that is really a model for our society, and it's called the Student Serve Program. We have hundreds of children, some with disabilities and some who are normal and wonderful. but we have inclusion. We have our special needs children and the other children all together. And before we start our program on the beach, we hold hands. We have a circle of love. The diversity of the people participating, different cultures, different religions, different ages, holding hands, and we thank God for the day that we're going to have in Long Beach. God gave Long Beach a beautiful beach, beautiful people, a diverse population, holding hands and saying thank you, God, for us to have a happy day. And every parent, volunteer, participant, child, everybody has a smile on their face. And this is really a model of what life should be. If we can hold hands, do things together, advocate and work for what is good and right for people, that we're going to be more successful in our future. But I resent this movie. I resent movies like this that glorify people with mental illness that do bad criminal things. But not everybody who is mentally ill is a potential criminal. They're human beings, part of your family, and they need love and support. So if we work together to help those that we can help, and then we're going to have a much better world. And I just don't like the idea when I see movies that really motivate bad behavior and dangerous behavior.
Absolutely, and one aspect I want to get your thoughts on dealing with mental illness is that Harvey, as an ex-police officer, what has happened so far this year in New York City is there's been 10 New York City police officers have taken their own life. Now, do you feel that's a case of the police officers not reaching out and getting help for issues like depression, anxiety, and some of the horrible things that they deal with? What do you think is some of the factors that has driven so many police officers here in New York City to take their own lives this year?
Well, in 1960, I was a PBA president, and this was a problem, and suicides were a problem. And the answer really is that we have to understand this job. And the most important thing I tell people who serve in the police department, and I'm actively involved, don't take this job home. What you have and what you see on the streets, you don't bring it home. Because, and I can just share one example, we had a serious vehicle accident on Monroe Boulevard by St. Mary's Church, and a person was run over by his own car. And we had to work for the medical examiner to come. And he came and he handed a cup to my friend George Elliott, who was a police officer. He said, go and get his brains. We need his brains. I said, do you think that person's going to be normal again? Or the violence that is taking place that you see on a daily basis, if that doesn't impact you? I mean, you're trying to understand how people can do the terrible things that are being done and the vicious crimes that are being committed. So, you know, when you see a cop, you say, thank you for being here, thank you for the job that you do. And they need support. Answering your question, perfect, because we started this program about mental illness. Well, if a cop has this depression and is upset, he's not bad, he's not a potential criminal, but he needs some kind of help. And help and assistance, but once you say that I'm reaching out, I have some problems, I need help, my God, they're going to throw him into the category he's mentally ill, he could be dangerous. Instead of saying, here's somebody that has done so many good things, he needs some help, let's help him and his family. So we got to understand what's really important. But this job, how many people are getting killed? How many cops have a target on their back? And this is because, you know, everybody thinks that they can do and get away with criminal actions today, because I suspect the justice system doesn't seem to be doing a great job. And I'm telling you, that's something that is really very important. The misdeeds of the justice system and how many bad people that I know in situations where they drove while drinking and driving, drunk driving, hit somebody, killed somebody, went to court, and they end up 3 months. And I was with a parent who lost his daughter and said, right here in Island Park, this person is celebrating, he only got 3 months, he killed my daughter. These are the kind of situations that really are upsetting. And we want to make sure that people need help, get help, and the people who do criminal actions really get punished and get the full extent of the law.
And absolutely, and Harvey, you touched on the movie, and there's one scene in the movie that I feel could have very damaging effects on our society, and that scene was the Joker standing up on a car after he brutally murdered several people, and there's hundreds of people around him cheering him like he's this greatest hero. And my fear is that someone out there who's mentally unstable, who is prone to violence, that this type of hero worshiping a murderer like this and getting cheered by a lot of people could spark tremendous violence.
It does, it motivates violence. And listen, didn't we just have something very serious locally? I mean, you know, I give you an example that really upset me, and I think it upset the world when it was brought to view. A great athlete at a college. They had a big party. A young lady drank too much, passed out, and she was raped by an athlete, a star on a team in this college. Rape charged, 4 counts of rape. Judge sentenced him to 3 months. 3 months for raping somebody. Of course, this is unbelievable, but it's true. Yes, and then he explained, well, this young man has a future in sports, and he has a... I said, are you kidding me? How the hell does something like this happen? By the way, they ended up getting this guy out of being a judge. But the reality of something like that happening, or the example that I gave you, and how about the one that happened recently here, right here in our area, where we have a 16-year-old young man who was in a fight with somebody, and 2 gangs, or groups of people, if you will, got together, and they stabbed this young man, this 18-year-old person from Lido Beach, not Long Beach, Lido Beach, stabbed him, and people were just taking pictures with the video. I mean, with their phones. They were taking pictures while this was going on, instead of jumping in there and trying to do something, which would have been dangerous. And I only can speak for myself. I would have done something, and I would hope that others would. But calling 911 and getting any kind of medical attention would have been more important than taking a video. And I know we have a good DA here, and they're going to prosecute everybody that was there, even not only the one that saved this person, but the other 7 people that were there with him should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because they are part of that young man's death.
Absolutely. So Harvey, we thank you for sharing on mental illness, and we will continue to talk about this. And I pray that because of the Joker movie, that we don't see more copycat crimes and more mass shootings, but you know, we just have to take it day by day. But they really, you know, just go this further. Think about this. The Joker brand has been out there for 70 years. If this movie had been put out even 30 years ago, there wouldn't be an issue. It would just be, hey, the Joker movie is out there. It's an entertaining movie. You know, it's part of, you know, today's culture. There wouldn't be any feedback. There wouldn't be any controversy. It's only because this movie was put out in today's climate, where we've had over 280 mass shootings in 2019, where it's such a controversy.
It's scary. It just is plain scary. That's why parents and families have to really know their children, spend time with their children. You know, it goes all back to the economy. You're talking about success. So people are making a lot of money. People are working 2 jobs in order to pay their bills. So we don't have a middle class anymore. The middle class is suffering. People have money, that's great. The people that don't have money are starving and having difficulty. I mean, our values have changed. And I think we really should start focusing on what's important. And that's giving love to your friend, your neighbor, and the people that you love dearly, to make sure that you communicate. And if anybody needs help, you seek help to make them as healthy and as good as they can be to be able to function in our society. And by the way, I was on the mental health committee up there, up in Albany for many years, for over 20 years. So I know about it, and we know about it. We went through it. We went with the shock systems and all the other things that had to be done over the years. Some were approved and some weren't, but the reality is that mental health is a situation that does exist in our society, and it's all really because I don't think people really take the time to take one step back and thank God for what they have, instead of trying to achieve much more than they should have.
Well said. We thank Harvey Weisenberg for his perspective. Thank you, Harvey.